So before we move into the coaching proper, let's go through some agreements that we can co-create together to set a container for this conversation so that we feel safely held and, you know, that we're in it together. It's all about witnessing this process. And it feels important to do that, to create that, a safety net. So first of all, first thing is to say that everything that we talk about is confidential unless we agree otherwise.
Yeah.
So although this is recorded, this conversation, if there's something that you feel you're not happy with, I will always check with you, first of all, to be sure that you are happy with me sharing anything. Nobody beyond this conversation knows that we're even here. So I don't even say to people, oh, I'm meeting with X person and coaching them. So nobody knows, nobody needs to know, and we'll keep it like that unless we agree otherwise. So does that sound good to you? Is that okay with you?
Sounds wonderful. Yeah, sounds perfect. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So other than that, I have 3 fundamental agreements for our conversation today. The first of which is about honesty, being really honest with yourself and with me as far as you can, as far as you possibly can. And also I'll be honest with what I see. If there's something that's coming up that I see in you, maybe a blind spot or something that maybe you can't access but that I can see, then I'm honest with you as well about what I am witnessing. So obviously you are in control of what you share with me. You are in the driving seat here. In my experience, though, as far as possible, the more honest you can be, radically honest, and the more powerful potentially the conversation, and then therefore any shifts or transformations that do happen as a result of that. So I'm going to pause there and see how that lands for you, and if there's anything that you want to ask or add.
I really appreciate when you said that you would also try to, like, you're not expecting it just from me, but you also try to be honest and you know, point to something that's worth mentioning if you feel like it's relevant. And that's, I really want that. So thank you, because I really feel like I'm in a space where I'm open to that, to be pointed towards the things I'm not seeing. So that's really welcomed on my side. And I've never, I think it's the first time I've heard of this specific point of, like, the honesty part, like, as a part of an agreement. And I wonder if I've been taking it for granted maybe, and just feeling like it's just something that, of course, I'm going to be honest. But now that you've mentioned it, it brings it to the surface in a different way. So I'm on board with it, and I'm letting it, like, kind of reach me, because it really, it lands in a more intentional way, rather than just not being mentioned at all, if that makes sense.
Absolutely makes sense. Yeah. And that's the beauty and the power of these agreements, is that they make things transparent. So they do away with any kind of assumptions. And so in a conversation like this, I have 3 agreements. They're very simple and fundamental. In a kind of longer coaching engagement, I have like 2 pages of agreements. And one of those is expectations as opposed to agreements, because often in life we live in this world of expectations where we assume, or we don't make things clear and apparent. And so for me, one of the amazing things about coaching, or the conversations like this, it's an opportunity to really bring that to light and to dismiss or do away with any assumptions, so that we can really be fully present and really dive into what needs to be explored. So I love that you feel that, and I love especially that you say it's landed for you. Like, I can feel it, the power of that in your body, like, oh yes, you know, it's real, it's truth. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so you're happy with that agreement?
Yes, I am. I'm totally happy.
Okay, wonderful. So the second one is kind of related in a way, and it's about self-responsibility. So it's taking responsibility for your needs in this conversation. And that might look like, if the conversation is going somewhere that you feel isn't helping you or isn't serving you, then you can take responsibility for saying, well, hang on, stop. Can we go somewhere else? It also means that, if you agree to that, then I feel safe in the sense that I feel like I know that you have been given the opportunity, that we've made this agreement, that you say what you need. And likewise, you don't need to rescue me at all. You don't need to worry about my well-being. Like, am I saying the right thing? Is she going to, do I need to keep her happy? Like, all of that just is off the table, and we just are 100% responsible for our own part in it, so that we can then relax and not worry about what the other person's thinking.
Yeah, I mean, my mind went straight to the various times in the past where I was in a kind of session therapy or something in the kind of a therapeutic, I don't know if we can call it a therapeutic space, but maybe. And I felt like, this is not really where I want to go. But I just did it because I guess because it wasn't offered, the alternative wasn't offered, and I didn't have the confidence also and I wasn't, the agreement wasn't there. That's again, like it brings me back to how important it is, because if you're not told that, oh, you're the one who, you're the one who guides. I mean, you guide actually, but I'm the one who, I decide where to go. If I'm not told that, then I won't know that. And of course, there is, in this kind of context, it can also be all kinds of things, right? Like power dynamics as well. Even if we want to maybe pretend that they're not there, they can be. So it's really, really good to know that, to feel like, oh, I can actually just bring it back to what interests me, because at the end of the day, we're two human beings, and you cannot guess completely like what I need, right, and what I want. And it's amazing, of course, like I don't see it any other way. And I'm responsible for my process in that way. Like, there is only so much you can do for me getting what I need from this space. So it's amazing that again, you said it, and I'm on board with it, and it needs to be said. So I really appreciate it. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for that.
Well, you're welcome. Yeah, these conversations are co-created after all. So it's interesting that you mentioned the power dynamic, and and I think that it's complex and nuanced, that. And at the same time, it's like, often when I'm with clients, I say, you create the magic. You, the client, create the magic. I'm just there to reflect back what I see and to guide the conversation. And so we co-create the where the conversation goes. And so ownership of the process is really key here, I think. So thank you for agreeing to that. That's really good. So the third and final one for this conversation is about being, really, rather than doing. Not that doing is not important, and we need to, I feel like we need to do in order to work out who we are and who we're becoming. But the kind of conversations I love to have in these sort of spaces really attend to who we are underneath all of that doing. So who are you becoming, Alexandra? Who are you? And so what can happen in that is that the conversations tend to, not always, but they tend to go deeper than the surface level. Okay, let's fix the problem and work out what needs to be done here. It's very much about, who are you? And then really it's about attending to the different parts of who you are in order to then welcome all of you, So again, I'm going to pause and just see if there's anything that you want to ask or add or anything about that particular agreement.
Yeah, no, I love it. And it brings me to this, it brings me in the space of like, okay, it's going to be a bit messy. It's going to be a bit, because, you can't really control that. And I'm excited about it. And of course, there's that nervousness around it, because it's just, you're in that space of not knowing a little bit when you're more in the being rather than doing or thinking. And so thank you for saying it. Thank you for offering that. And I am giving myself for full permission also to be in that space without the need for it to be in a certain way, without me worrying about saying the right thing or anything like that. Like, again, like as I said before we even pressed record, I'm here to just be in the process, be. And I really need it, and I'm here for it. So yeah, on board with that.
Thank you. Cool. And just a quick word on that messiness. Yeah, like we don't always have to have the answers. You know, it's like this is where we work together to sort of unpick like what is going on. You know, it's fine to be messy. Like often that's really productive and really generative. You know, it's like let's figure out the mess together.
Yeah.
That's really what's happening some of the time. So thank you for that. Okay, good. Is there anything that you would like to add to those 3 fundamental agreements?
I think they cover everything. I mean, for the purpose of this call, and nothing that comes to mind. I know that I can always share whatever comes. So for now, we're good to go ahead, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely, thank you. And yes, as always, we will proceed at your pace. If there's anything if we go too far with anything, we pause, we can take a step back. You are in charge of the direction of travel, and we can go as deep or otherwise as feels comfortable for you. So you're in charge here. So,
perfect. Thank you, Rachel. I'm excited.
Okay, so what I love to do next then is just to do a little bit of grounding, just to arrive and to make the transition between the quite heady sort of conversation we've just had about agreements and all of that, setting the container, and then making space and really acknowledging that it's a sacred space that we're about to step into together. This is a container for your transformation, potentially, for really paying attention to who you are. So let's just take a couple of moments just to arrive and ground. I invite you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes and bring your attention into your body, just letting go of any tension that you might feel. Yeah, your face, shoulders. You're well attuned to the intelligence of your body, I know. So really tuning into that, Alexandra, and noticing what's there in this moment. Paying attention to any sensations, emotions. And then really tuning as far as you can to the highest intention for this conversation we're about to have. We're here fully in service of your growth, your creativity, your transformation. And just acknowledging the sacred space for that, and willingness to step in, to lean in, to be curious, and to connect to your higher self and my higher self as much as we possibly can. And then just noticing, is there anything that needs to be given attention in this conversation? Any glimmers of perhaps fear or resistance that point you towards something that matters? Anything that has an energy or a resonance of purpose? And just giving space to that for a moment or two longer. And then no hurry at all. Stay there as long as you need to. And when you're ready, you can take one last intentional breath. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I don't know if you lost me.
I lost you for a moment. Yes.
Yes, it was the screen.
Okay.
I've been here actually.
I could hear you breathing actually, so I knew you were there. But yeah, you just froze. Your image froze. So yeah.
We'll have to figure out how this whole the studio recording works. But anyway, it's the call is still on, so we are still on. Yeah.
Okay.
This was really lovely. It was a really, really good way to arrive even deeper. I said I was quite settled already, but yeah, here I am.
Yeah. So, Alexandra, we have 40 minutes or so, maybe a bit longer. I don't know if you're in a hurry. We can see. Often I say, like,
No.
if you've got time, and we I hate to cut things off just because, it's an agreed time. Like, if we're in the flow and if you have time, I have time, then we'll see if we need an extra 5 or 10 minutes or something. So I'm curious, really, about where you want to start, whether anything maybe came up from that grounding. What needs to be explored in this conversation?
Yes, as I was in that little meditation that we just did, grounding practice. Something that came was, again, something I said from the beginning, which is that I really want, a part of me really craves that full permission to be completely transparent and to really allow for things to be as they are. So for what I've been in the last weeks, maybe when it comes to my work, my sense of creating and all of that, I just want to really see it for what it is. And then I could feel like there was this other part of me that was a little bit more controlling, a little bit more like wanting to guide the process somewhere. So I think what needs to be explored, that's a good question. Yeah, like what, should I just tell you a little bit about what I've been in the last few weeks in terms of how things have been showing up, how I've been showing up or not so much, and has my process been with creativity and with creating and with work and all of that? Or
yeah, I'm curious to know. So what lands for me is there's the division as you're talking that sounds like there's part of you that really wants to be fully transparent, was the word you used. And on the other, there's a part of you that's wanting to control.
Yeah.
So it would be useful to, from the last weeks, maybe give me a couple of examples so that you can understand what actually happens when you feel that fragmentation.
Well, so I feel like I'm in kind of a transitional space, but I can't really point it fully, and it's not like a big transition or something that could be seen from the outside, or even something that needs to be announced necessarily, but it's more of a subtle shift. And I'm very much in it, and I don't really know how to talk about it. That's what we're doing here, I guess. But I feel like I'm being called to something, to a next step or chapter or phase of what I want to share, or what I want to talk about, or the kinds of spaces I want to inhabit within myself, and also to bring in the work that I do with people, and also to talk about, to share, to offer my perspective. I'm being called into that, and it's the thing I've been wanting, like, I think it's just this process of creation always goes like that you are always like, you're in it and you're connected so much with it, and you're in that flow or wave that feels really yummy. And then there is a friction again, where you're not that you're done with that specific flavor of it, but you're kind of called into something that's a little bit on the edge of what you're comfortable with. And so it's been really difficult to hold that, because it's not that I don't have it's not that I don't have ideas, but I think it's been very difficult to express them, to find a way for them to be like, to come out of me. And I think what's been happening is that because the call, what I'm being called towards, feels a little bit more, I guess, closer to what's real to me, and a bit more brave, a bit more, it would require me to inhabit a bigger space. There are all those things coming up. Like, there is the perfectionism coming up, that like it has to be perfect. And there are the fears, like, even as I talk about it right now, I don't have it, like, I don't fully know how to describe it, because it's very much a contradiction. Like, the way it feels, it's totally contradictory, in the sense that there is, it's undeniable that it's there, and it's undeniable that I'm going to be going towards that, whatever that is. And at the same time, it's it's like the threshold hasn't been fully crossed. It's like I'm sensing it, but it's not, I'm not fully stepping towards it, although I think I am in some ways. So I think I've kind of been waiting to be ready, although I talk about that all the time, like, and that's the thing, like, it's such a humbling experience to be, I think when you're called, and I think we are all creative, but when you know that you're here to express, to create, to share yourself, you are constantly, I mean, this is how my experience right now, I'm being humbled, where I'm having to revise the lessons, or like the wisdom that I kind of learned in the past, but now I have to learn it again. Like the thing, like, waiting to be ready, or like, oh, I know that, like, that's kind of familiar, but I'm doing it. I'm in it now, because it's a different iteration. I think it's a different layer of the journey, and I'm kind of getting the wisdom in a different, like, in a different flavor of it again. Oh, it's the same thing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's been kind of scary to and I think what's making it scary, or maybe harder than I think, or my mind thinks it should be, is also the fact that the world is loud, and it's been difficult for me to pause lately, and to create the space for the thing to be expressed, because I feel like the space has been like busy. I feel like if there is no space to really fully hear myself, then of course it's all very busy. Like, the channel of creation, or the channel of expression is not clear. this is kind of what I've been in the last few weeks, trying to create a bit more space between, more trying to pull back my energy somehow, like to pull back my own like signal, like my own voice, and to and it's interesting because it's working because as soon as I do it, it's like it's there, like, oh, okay, so I am coming into a relationship with it. It's there. I can sense it, and it also comes with, it's so interesting, this process of like of confidence, even the confidence to create and to share what's true for you. Again, it doesn't come from somewhere. It's not going to come, no one gives it to you, but you kind of gain it when you trust yourself to come back towards yourself, and then you listen to, like, it sounds probably very abstract, everything I'm saying right now, but like it's just the only way to describe it. But when you really listen to your own truth, voice, idea, to what feels true to you, of course it's yours and it's your perspective, and that gives you the confidence to share it forward and to stand behind it, and to so yeah.
Okay, I'll just pause you there. So let me just reflect back what I heard in that, so that we can kind of begin to think about where we go next. Interesting things coming up. So on the one hand, there's the sense of like, I mean, I hear very strongly you're being called towards something, the next evolution of who you are and what you want to create. And I hear as well that you're very attuned to your own wisdom, and there's a kind of a deep sense of listening on the inside. So that came across very clearly in what you said. At the same time, you said you're on a threshold. And so there are fears there as well about how you then transmit all of that in a very noisy world. How you stay true to what you really want to say in this noisy world, when also there are all kinds of fears, including perfectionism. Does that like capture what you are experiencing just now?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, it's that I guess it now what comes is the idea of trust, like trusting in what you know you want to share, you want to create, how, and like how to access that. And I mean, I kind of know how to access that, and sometimes I forget. I forget that these are the conditions that I need in order to access that trust and the confidence.
Yeah, it's interesting because there are sort of two ways that this conversation could go. And this is before you said that, like, you know how to access that self-trust, even if sometimes you forget. But often, like, you know, this conversation could go one way, which is like, how do you cultivate that self-trust? For me, that's not the conversation. The conversation is like, how do I express who I really am, and how do I trust myself enough to express that and externalize that? And that's where the fear comes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely more pronounced, as there's more juice there to explore, I think, for sure. Yeah.
So are you willing to talk about the fears?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So I'd love to know then from you 2 or 3 core fears, like really what's at the heart of what's going on for you, what's holding you back here. So by core fears, what I mean really is what you're afraid people will say or think about you, or what they'll find out about you.
Okay, good question. So I think that even before that, it's the fear that that I will be completely invisible, and that there won't be any resonance at all. It would be just like shouting into the void. So I think it's the fear of, because I feel like I value my perspectives and the way I see things so much, and I'm almost like protecting it, because I feel like if no one else sees it, I'm going to be so hurt that I just rather not share it, and I just protect it. And I am just recognizing, I'm realizing it now, actually, because I didn't see it like that before. But it almost feels like I'm protecting my, like, what feels so precious, because if no one receives it in the way that I would like that to be received, and I also, by saying that, I'm recognizing that yes, it is important to me to be seen, and yeah, I think it would be painful, I think, not be seen, to not be received, to have my perspectives or whatever I share, or like if I welcome people into my work, into my offers, into my world, to not have that be like, to have no resonance on that, like just silence. And yeah, so but at the same, yeah, so okay, I'm recognizing this is quite a strong fear, because of course the mind, the mind says that, oh, but I don't know what the mind says, actually, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so this seems to be a big fear of not having the resonance, not finding my people, because I do know that my people are there. I do know that, so that's one of them. Yeah.
Is there another one that pops up when you?
Yeah, so this, and then yeah, the other one is that, like, who am I to say it that way? And some of the things that I want to like step into and share more about are maybe a bit more, let's say, no, I don't want to say polarizing, but they are more like from my direct deep experience. And it would mean that I'm not trying to cover all potential aspects. I'm not going to be trying to cover all of the different things I'm missing, because when you say something, it means you don't say something else. You cannot say everything in one go. So, and I'm craving that freedom. I just want to say something and let it be as something that I believe in, and as something that I'm exploring at the moment. And that means that I won't be saying like something else. And so I feel like, yeah, there will be I will be misunderstood, or yeah, some people will think that I'm being reckless, or maybe not so mindful of like sort of accommodating all the other people who might not feel exactly the same way, but how might they feel? And so all of those things. And I think I'm even like saying it is like so heavy. I don't want to like, I don't need to care about all of that, and to hold all of that, because we are so many. And if I don't say something, or if I say something that doesn't resonate with someone, then someone else will say something that resonates with them. And of course, on the mind level, I get that. But so the fear, I'm even feeling how these fears are inviting me almost into a different version of myself that is somehow less accommodating, but more I can't really quite, because I don't want to say less accommodating, but just more true to what's true, rather than polishing it so that it accommodates more perspectives or more people, but then it kind of dilutes the essence. So I need to become that person that is okay with that, and saying it's exciting. So I know that's like I know it needs to happen, and not like it doesn't come from any kind of arrogance, just from like, yeah, it's more satisfying for my soul, for my it's so that's the second fear, yeah, to be misunderstood and potentially judged or misunderstood. I guess I need to be understood, maybe because line in line with being seen. And let's see, because I feel like there is one more. We
Yes,
can 3 years. 3
remember.
And I feel like there is another one that maybe it's even potentially okay. Yeah. It's the fear of failure. So it's literally this fear of like, what if it will just come to nothing? Like it would just not matter in any way, and it won't go anywhere. So it's like it's this, yeah. It's the fear of this, let's say, body of work, because I kind of imagine, I feel the call towards building something that's mine. What if it won't work, or there's, I don't know what work means, but what if it won't? I guess the failure in this context would mean that it won't, yeah, it won't serve anyone probably, because that's, I don't want, it's not just about me sharing my perspectives, but I do want to genuinely provide and really impact the people that potentially need my gifts and my medicine, as I need other people's gifts and medicine. So I do care about that, and the impact and the genuine impact and contribution to someone's, So I guess the failure would be that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Thank you for sharing those. It's no easy thing to express the fears that really are there in our core, the things that often we want to keep hidden, or we don't even see them. We don't even see them ourselves. Like, they're hiding almost in plain sight in our own being some of the time. So, I hear there, fear around no one will see me, I'll be invisible. That was the first one. The second one was, who am I? Things won't resonate for people, I'll be misunderstood. And the third is this fear around, I guess, failing. Yeah, it will fail, whatever that looks like. So of those three, Alexandra, at the moment, which of those do you think has the most power over you right now?
Yeah, I think it's the last one, the failure part. Yeah, because the other ones, I can work. I feel like they are walking beside me somehow. I can still do things. I can, and yeah, I'm not quite sure actually, but I think the last one is probably and it's probably the one that I also don't recognize enough. Like I don't feel like I never really said it. Oh, maybe it's not gonna work, or it's not gonna go anywhere. But I think that's probably the one that is behind the other two, or underneath the other two. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at that one then. Let's explore that one a little bit more.
Yeah, I can feel
you're listening to your body wisdom. Yes, that's the one. That's the one that resonates most. And not to dismiss the other two, but that in conversations like this, I always go, okay, where do we start? And often fears are all related and interconnected, but that one feels to me as well as though it has the most energy and juice. So what happens when we're afraid, and I'm sure you probably know this as well from your own work with people, is that we feel the fear, we don't want to feel the fear, so we develop these adaptive behaviors, these survival mechanisms, as we call them sometimes, to prevent us feeling that fear, or so that people won't see, that we failed. That won't even happen. So I'm curious, you talk about this body of work that you want to create and the fear around it not succeeding, not landing for people. So what do you do then when you feel that fear? Like, what are those behaviors that you would engage in?
Procrastination, so avoiding, avoidance. So there's been some avoidance recently. Just, I could, for example, know, I wake up inspired and I know that, okay, today I'm gonna write this piece because I know it's in me. And then I do some other things, right? And then I kind of lose it. I lose and it's kind of, I lose the inspiration, let's say, and I know I can create it again, but I just see myself engaging with all kinds of different things that seem very important all of a sudden, but not the thing. So that's one way, and there is a lot of anticipation. So like my mind anticipates that this would be difficult to. It's like something that's alive in me that wants to be shared, but it's a bit sticky still, and I haven't quite nailed it down. And then it's gonna be so, like, the creation process is gonna be difficult, and somehow I just don't want to go there because I just want it to be easy, and I don't want to like struggle, and I don't want to be confronted with my own limitations in some way. Like, oh, this is hard to, So then I just don't do it, or I do it often and I don't share it. That's been something which I didn't really have. I haven't really had as much in the past, but recently, apparently, that's happening too. That I create something or write something, and it stays there. So, what other ways? And then it goes into shame somehow. So it kind of goes into that space of like, it's difficult to describe, but it's almost like I invalidate my own experience by I hear the call, I hear the signal, and I either ignore it, bypass it, or I kind of listen to it, but I don't I don't share it further, and then that creates that kind of doubt. It's like a cycle of like doubt and shame, and kind of reinforces the fact that, oh yeah, that must not be good enough, or so it becomes a little kind of like so that's kind of what's happening, and then I do have the day finally comes when I do share the thing, and when I and but yeah, it's been pretty kind of difficult, like walking through mud. It feels like it's a slow, like not slow, but heavy process recently. Yeah.
That's the second time you've used that word, and that if I can feel the heavy energy of it, shame. Shame has a really heavy energy, doesn't it? It really weighs us down. It prevents us from, it blocks off our essence. It blocks off our radiance. It blocks off our clear expression. So I just want to like acknowledge you for sharing that, and just to say, yes, you know, I have felt and continue to feel all of those things too, you know, and this is the thing, that we're not alone in this experience. It feels very isolated and lonely sometimes, doesn't it? At least it does for me. I'm like, I'm the only person who can figure this out, and why can't I? You know, all of that stuff. And you know, I hear that in what you're saying, this spiral. So I feel like I just feel an impulse to say, I acknowledge that I have also experienced that, and you're not alone in that.
Thank
And yeah, it feels really important to say that, like, you know, you're not alone, and you're wading through mud, but you're not on your own. There are so many other creatives, creators, you know, who are in that same place. But I hear really clearly, and this is another part of you that I want to acknowledge, this hearing the signal. You really hear the signal.
And I know it will never stop.
No.
So at least I know that, like, I'm always going to be called.
So here we go. I've got a little exercise for us, if you're willing, to really just, I don't know, just to see, like, who you could be, who you are becoming, who you're moving towards, because I have no doubt that that signal that you're hearing is the you, it's the version of you. And you said it earlier, like, there's a version of you that you're wanting to become, that you are becoming, and you just haven't quite contacted her yet.
Yeah.
So I'd love to, like, make her acquaintance.
Oh, wow. I'm getting giggly.
Should we go and meet her for a few moments?
Yeah.
Are you willing? So I'd love you to just close your eyes and connect with her. Like, who is she? This version, this future version of Alexandra, who is she? And maybe especially, like, where is she in your body right now? Like, do you experience her in your body somewhere?
Yeah.
Feel?
Yeah, she's in this chest area, like just this whole, I can feel energy here.
And what's the kind of feeling of that kind of feeling of the energy in the chest? Like, how does that make you feel? Can you say more about that?
Yeah. Expansive, it's opening, and it's expansive, and actually I'm seeing like a crack in between, and there's like an opening. It's like, and there's some light coming through the opening. It's like when you see never mind. Yeah, it's so there is a lot of brightness, a yellow light. I almost feel it also in my hands somehow. It's feels tangible. Yeah, she feels very tangible.
Tangible. That's great.
Definitely here.
Yeah, that's a really very powerful image of the crack and the yellow light, and I wonder what you make of that. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's something wanting to come through. So it's this thing, this new iteration of me, of my creativity, or of my work, maybe, that's wanting to come through. That's what it feels like that is. And again, like, it's undeniable because it has its own force. So it's not something that I can control, or it's not something that I can, like, or anyone can, like, stop, or it has its own charge, its own force. And I know, that's why I know that this is independent from my, like, from it's when it's a relationship that I have with that. It's like the relationship that I have with the energy of creation itself runs through me. So that's the undeniable force that will come through, and is already coming through. And it's like I am already in that process. It's just that I might have some idea of how it should be by now, but I trust that it's already happening. Yeah.
So just staying with that experience, that energy, that trust, tuning into this future version of you who is in this place already. She has passed through this crack, this golden light, and she's on the other side, and she's not without fear, but she's certainly, more in the light, more in possession of her own, of trust in herself, in her voice, in what she wants to create.
Yeah. So I sense and I feel that she's not alone, and it's clear that she will be supported, which is something that I think a previous version of me didn't think was possible, and thought that she needed to do it all on her own. It's not the case anymore. And I think even being in this call with you right now is like even sharing that, and you having witnessing me, and this process is like already, gives me that confidence that that's how it is. So I'm getting this sense of support. She is supported, and it's a shift in perspective, because for a lot of time she didn't think that, as I said, that resources were there, that other people were there, that solutions can be found, or that if something doesn't work, you can find out and make it work. And there is more possibility now. There is more access to possibility and resources, that she's still getting used to that, because she's not super used to that. So it's this like getting used to a different way, which even as I know that the unfamiliar, even if it's positive, can still feel a bit scary. So she's stepping into it still with some, is this really possible? Is it really like that? But there is,
Lovely. So if your future self, the future version of you, could put a message in a bottle, send it back to the present you, Alexandra of now, like a little homeopathic dose of medicine, what might she say?
Yeah, so the word trust came immediately. Trust in the process, as cliche as it may sound. Trust in the process. And to be open. The message is to stay open. To stay open, That really didn't expect that to be the message, but seems to be very important and very simple and not easy sometimes, but to stay open.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Anything else coming through?
Yeah, I'm feeling a very reassuring energy right now, and that trusting energy that I'm exactly where I need to be. Not to rush also.
Mm.
Maybe not to rush, because there are nuggets like of wisdom and gold that are to be felt and not to be missed in this path, on this transitional path, and so not to rush again is a message. And that makes me feel very relaxed and very, again, like I can really sit back and settle in this knowing that I don't need to grasp, I don't need to rush.
Yeah. Amazing. So good.
Very good. Yeah. It's, yeah, again, the things that I might know on a mind level, but when they are felt, it's a whole new experience.
Yeah, it's the embodied process of experiencing it in space that's co-created, that is witnessed, that is felt. We slow down, we explore, we investigate.
Yeah.
We see what's there. It's exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd love to maybe like bring it back to the now and come back in the room.
Yeah.
If you're ready for that, no problem.
Yeah, that was very beautiful. Thank you so much. It's feels really like such a safe space to just go in all these different places and going into the fears and going into the possibility, and it's so beautiful.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Sometimes what I offer is like a little suggestion for an exercise to integrate what
Yes.
happens. So obviously, like embodied process is very powerful. And so it's a suggestion, an invitation. You don't have to follow it through, but I wonder what might happen if you give more voice to that future you, the future version of you, writing back to the you of now in the present, like the messages of trust and staying open and, you know, just taking your time, no rush, you know. So that's a possibility, is that you could actually write as her, you know, your future you, give her a voice, because I feel like the present you can really hear her and tune in. Might be interesting to see like what happens if you speak as her. Like, what does she have to say? What reassurance can she offer your present you? You know, that might be really interesting to try that.
Yeah, actually, I have to agree, because I didn't expect it to be so easy to tune into that, into her. And it feels like a very aligned thing to do right now, to have this communion, to speak, to have her be more present. That's, and even to write, like I actually now feel like even to write
Amazing.
the current version of me, I didn't expect that to be so I don't even want to say needed, but it's an exciting thing to do somehow.
Yeah, and you know, potentially inspiring, because that's, you know, that future you is so connected to vision and purpose. It's possibility. And so, you know, it would be really interesting, I think, and fruitful, I feel, to explore her voice. And maybe even, you know, those writing sessions where like you're avoiding, or you know, or the sessions where you've written the thing but you're afraid to share, like maybe bring her into the room and see what she has to say. Like she could be like your fairy godmother.
I'm so on board with this, I have to say. This is something I'm definitely going to do. It feels very, very like the right next step. Yes. I really want to do that. So thank you so much for that suggestion. I will Yes, yes, definitely.
You're welcome. Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Does that feel complete for now? Is anything? Yeah.
It does. It really does.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm going to have to integrate this because and I don't want to brush it off too quickly. That's what I mean. What I experienced here, because I think yeah, I really want to be in this for a bit. So, and explore this a little bit more with your suggestion and yeah, it feels complete. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Alexandra. I'm going to end the recording now, but let's stay on and talk.
Thank you so much for the guidance.
Pleasure. It was so fun.
It was really fun. Yeah. Thank you, Rachel.